apparently the Mounties were upset about their cultural appropriation of Founders on the beer label, so they asked Founders not to put it on the label.
Did they? But don't they have one without and one with? I think La Bodega had one without. Maybe that
might have been last year. Yeah. So last year was. Anyways.
Sorry, Greg.
Welcome to Four Brewers.
Welcome to Four Brewers. My name is John Holzer, and Greg Nagel's here, and Jason's here, and fucking Chris is here. Let's open some beers. What do you guys think?
Greg had to hear us talk about cars for 5 minutes, so he's like a wet cat.
It's like fantasy football, man. It's like, good God.
Okay, I'm going to start over.
Are we starting over?
Yeah.
I like that intro. I was going to roll with it.
No. Welcome to Four Brewers. My name is John Holzer, and as always, I'm joined by
Jason Harris
and Greg Nagel.
And we're here with Chris Walowski from Trustworthy Brewing Company.
Yeah.
Once again.
Hello.
And this is turning into...
Machine gun.
Third show, fourth show.
Car peeling out.
So yeah, we're here with Chris once again, and you brought
what are we drinking?
we're drinking a lot of big beers today. Sin Reserva?
Yeah, Sin Reserva. So it's our Barrel-Aged Imperial Stout. We just do a barrel-aged version. It's just I brew it just to put into bourbon barrels.
Just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
I did solve the CBS mystery, and we can talk about that when we get to it. I found the answer to the question about the...
Nice.
So your rice lager, you should do a black version called Shits and Giggles.
Oh, such a good idea.
Damn straight. Except shits on a beer label.
We did do a Schwartz beer, and people loved it. We still get people that come in and ask for it. I'm like, it took me 9 months to sell 15 barrels. Like, I'm not
Schwartz beer.
It held up like surprisingly well, and I think towards the end of its life, it got definitely a lot better. But I'm like, I'm not brewing that. I'm not holding up a tap handle.
Just do a small batch. Yeah. Do a collab with somebody.
I would consider, I would say I like that style, but I still wouldn't buy it on the reg.
Yeah. I'm always excited to see it on tap places, but I'm never going to go to the shelf and be like, what? 4-pack of Schwartz beer? Sign me
Done.
up.
Oh boy.
What you drinking, huh? Oh, I'm just drinking a Schwartz beer, and I also have a 4-pack of British Mild, and my good God, how much beer are you going to drink?
Andy's Christmas
stocking stuffers.
Andy Legs Christmas special.
If I'm feeling real crazy, I might have a brown later.
A brown. Dude, I was at a bar. They had what's that? The fucking. It's not. It's the brown. Downtown Brown. They had Downtown Brown on tap
from Lost.
Yeah, I was like, who the fuck talked you into putting that on tap?
they showed in the tap handle, and they're like, "Oh, sick."
Right? I'm like, I'm gonna try it. Why not? I took a taster of it. I was like, oh yeah, this beer.
Seen better days.
You know what? I don't see
Did
great
we do a
white
raspberry
on.
version.
I don't know.
I don't see Great White on nearly as much as I used to, and it makes me sad. I love that beer.
Great White's great.
Great tap handle too.
Yeah. What's the hoppy version?
Sharkinator.
Sharkinator. Yeah.
Really good
I
beer.
was buying that a bunch, and then it's
I had no
You're
idea.
the only guy.
Now. Yeah, now all the ones on the shelf are old.
When I was working in Catalina, remember that?
Yeah.
I was there for like 3 months. That beer was at like the liquor store, and it was super fresh.
Nice.
Like it was, and they had
It's a Wayne Warehouse beer, right? I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But
we
it
still
was like
beer in
the only good
Catalina.
beer.
Yep.
You should have
Sin
found
Reserva.
You should have
Fuck,
found a
dude.
buffalo when you were over there.
We saw some.
That's rad.
Saw a lot of deer. Also,
See a bald eagle? I heard
I
they
did
have bald
not.
eagles. Over
Oh,
there.
no way.
Yeah.
This beer is 12% alcohol, and it's also 12 fluid ounces. So there's a percentage per ounce.
Yeah, it's great.
Jesus Christ!
Thanks, Greg. I'll be
Cutting
here all
edge
week.
content.
Hashtag great counts.
I love math.
So talk about that. Was that a coincidence? 12 ounces, 12%? Was that
no,
planned?
no.
Jesus
Can't say
Christ.
I mean, if you had an 18-ounce bottle, would you do an 18% beer?
No.
Okay. Just making sure.
on Untapped, it says this stout aged for 9 months in our tap room, which makes it sound like you just couldn't, like you just couldn't pour it out. Like it was just like, yeah, it sat there on tap for 9 months.
No,
With the
it
Schwartz
actually
beer.
just it was just in a bucket in the tap room on the side.
It was sitting next to the Schwartz beer. Like,
That's like the first homebrew me and Steve did. It sat in a carboy in his office for like a year. And he literally forgot about it. It's on one of those actually the latest NBT Brewing that we just uploaded.
What's on the show today?
To Patreon, which you can listen to at patreon.com/4brewers. And if you support us on Patreon,
$1 a month.
Yeah.
How many pennies is that a day? That's like
I don't know. You tell us, Greg.
I don't know.
12. There's 30 days.
Well, you take the 3 and then the 4, and I don't know.
I think it's a nickel a day.
Okay,
that's what it comes out to.
A nickel a day?
If you listen to,
it should be a penny a day by Greg's math.
F is the sixth letter of the alphabet. So if you add up 4 plus the number 4.
So the word nickel,
we're a numerology podcast.
For me, you can tell if I'm drunk, and you say, "Dude, what is this?" Hold up a nickel. I'm like, "That's a nickel."
It's a naggle.
The drunker I get, the harder it is for me to say the
Greg
word nickel. That's a nickel. Here, what got a nickel for me?
So what do we think? I'm nervous now.
Double nickels on the dime, man. This beer is good.
This is really solid. Like when
this is a little boozy, but
it is a little hot, but kind of the opposite of on the earlier episode when we were talking about for the big boozy stout, it didn't have the backbone to stand up to it. This does, right? Yeah. It has like a full character of sweetness. It hangs on your tongue to not. You don't just have booze hanging on your palate. Like it actually has a flavor. I read brownie, and that's the word I want to say, but I want to be like, it is very brownie like.
Yeah, it's like biting into like the undercooked part of a brownie where it's still kind of like doughy.
Gooey.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Gooey, doughy. Cool. Maybe you hit like a big chunk of chocolate in the brownie. So it's still, you get like the bready crustiness of a brownie, but it's really chewy. And this is a chewy fucking beer.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. This is like,
I don't know. I think might be a little too sweet for my taste, but I think it's, I think
it's got a lot of flavor packed in. Like it hits your palate and explodes with flavor. That's what I really appreciate.
I would say it is a little sweet for my taste, but that is the only way this style works, right? Like, that's why I don't drink imperial stouts, barrel-aged imperial stouts that often, because they have to really be sweet to work, and I don't usually want sweet. Yeah. But this is the profile I look for in the event I'm going for that beer.
Cool. I think the alcohol plays a nice role in it too. It really it adds to the sweetness and also accentuates the roast. Into that doughy sort of brownie character.
So you said you don't like the sweetness. Would you dial it back, like if you were to brew this again?
I don't think so. I think I'd probably keep it where it's at because I think it holds up to kind of that alcohol profile that's in the beer.
I like it. I dig it. I
I
think for the format too,
like my thing.
12 ounce, man.
But
percentage per ounce. Buddy.
If you do 8-ounce cans of this, we will totally go.
Yeah, perfect.
8% as well.
Perfect for an 8-ounce crowler fill.
These were Redemption Rye bourbon barrels that we got. So
rye.
Is it getting hard to get barrels at this point? It's gotta be.
I don't know. There's a lot of people, and like the barrels we got from a broker. And then they have like they had like the cooperage, they had like the stickers, like where the barrels came from. And then we just called them and they're like, oh yeah, we have those. And we also have Maker's Mark. We have this and we have that. and they're all about this price. I'm like, okay. And they're like, 10, 20% cheaper. So we're just going to call them up and
done.
Yeah. So
broker's listening to this, just punch through his hat. Like, dang it.
I also get kind of like a, I don't know. It's like a cinnamony kind of dark cherry on the nose.
That's a good call. You know what that's from is from the barrels.
It's nice.
With rye. Anytime you're getting a rye barrel aged beer, I think you're going to pick up on some of the cinnamon notes. Sort of like that. You're going to pick up more spiciness from the barrel.
I think it's covered up a lot by like it smells hot, like by the booziness of
Redemption Rye is a hot fucking drink on its own,
but it's like you can smell it underneath the alcohol, like kind of thing. And it's a wonderful beer, really good.
I'm trying to decide if I should like age a whole bunch or just tell people to just drink it now.
I would say it's drinking great now.
Yeah, I think it's.
I would tell people to buy 2 bottles, drink one now, and save one for later.
Yeah,
and see what happens.
Just like now and laters.
That's what I do. Except I'd never open them.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. Just got so much Black Tuesday.
That's an underlying theme of the show,
dude.
So much Black Tuesday.
Yes,
I know.
Christmas gifts for all your friends.
I cracked open in 2012, like a month or two ago, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is amazing!"
Yeah,
it was
did a 2010.
It was good
last month, and oh boy,
I
domed it.
I have one bottle
regretted
It was part of
09.
his pre-4 Brewers ritual where he domes and gets completely obliterated before we.
That was 2 days before the show.
Oh, it was 2 days. Oh, okay.
That was on a Thursday, and we recorded Saturday, and I was still
Giving
like
yourself some extra lane to work
I was
with.
still sweating Black Tuesday out at that point. Like,
That's crazy, dude.
oh god,
All right, next beer.
regrets.
You bring them to holiday events and make your family suffer.
So what are we
through
doing
them.
next?
Next up, Jason brought some beers, right?
I did it.
We got some. We're starting off with some beers from Fremont
Ooh.
Brewing.
The theme,
We got two.
The theme of the show is shelf whales. And that is to say, all the beers that we're having here just a few years ago were like big deal gets that people were trading a bunch for, that were really hard to find, that had big value. And all of these, I walked into my local liquor, which isn't a particularly like, it's not one of the top tier beer distributors in the area. They're not like, you know, the one that gets the cool special hookups, or just a regular liquor store. And I bought all these beers at just regular ass stores.
Yeah, the first one, B-Bomb, bourbon barrel aged. Like, I remember hearing about that beer, and I think I got pissed because I saw some Beer Geek like abbreviate it in a weird way online, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, I don't know what it was, but it just pissed me off. But that's the first time I heard about this beer, and I didn't even know it was like a whaley beer at that point. And Jason was like, no, that's like a whale of a beer, dude.
It's carved.
B-Bomb is also itself an abbreviation.
What is it?
It's the barrel-aged abominable ale.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought that's what happens after you eat Taco Bell and drink a Black Tuesday.
That's what happens to Greg.
B-Bomb. BRB. B-Bomb.
Speaking of Del Taco, how are those?
Oh yeah, I saw that on your Facebook or
Burgers.
Instagram.
Oh, you know, they taste like cheap taco meat. Like
Good. Perfect.
Like it's
So no change.
The texture is a little thinner than like regular meat, but
Yeah.
like it's a little smoother. It's not like you don't have like the little chunks like you'd have in ground beef, but
Right.
it tastes just kind of like cheap taco
It's
meat
not
mixed
like-
with beans.
It's not like granular tasting. It's more like spongy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's kind of like taco seasoning meat and beans is what it tastes like, kind of mixed together.
Yeah, because usually when we make burritos and stuff, we'll just like make our own pinto beans and then add like the vegan beefy crumbles.
Yeah.
And it just thickens everything up and gives it that kind of texture. But being used as Del Taco taco meat, I find interesting because I can already taste Del Taco taco meat in my mouth.
With
like,
their
I know what it tastes
Inferno
like.
sauce. Oh my god.
Like, so I have high expectations for this.
But a good use for Old Black Tuesday is suppose you like have a 3-day-old bottle that you just haven't finished, and you have some mushrooms. You can caramelize mushrooms in Black Tuesday and use them as taco filler.
So soak them in
Fuck,
Black
it's good.
Tuesday and then saute them or something?
Yeah, just put it in the pan and you cook the
okay.
mushrooms in
Cook
it,
it.
and reduce it down to a point where they get like nice and like they get
Sticky.
crystallized and sticky.
Yeah.
And oh man, in a taco, it's so good.
It's real thick. You can throw it through a window.
Yeah, you
of
can
an
like
enemy.
throw it. It's like Chinese stars.
Yeah. Didn't remember some weird a sequence of events led to us trying to throw a bottle against the wall in the back.
Yeah, that was like
backyard.
3 months ago.
Yeah.
A Black Tuesday?
It was some brewery beer, wasn't it?
It was
Yeah.
the one they did for Holiday Wine Cellar. I forgot the name of it.
Wasn't it like a wit beer or something? Like it was a sour?
It was something weird, but it was bad. Like
It was like straight up cardboard.
and
was like moist
it took like
cardboard.
I have like a brick wall in the backyard that's like it's like the cut brick, so it's like lumpy and
Oh,
exposed,
yeah.
kind of cinder block kind of brick.
I threw it
And-
4 times.
What? 4 throws.
And the last time I had to like, and it was like, it just
Yeah.
bounced off.
That's
3
good to
times.
know.
Einer's Folly, I think is
Yeah,
the beer.
Einer's Folly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Einer's Folly.
But,
We used to, when I was at Smog City, we Porter had a golf club at the brewery, and people would like drop off cans, and we'd like, at one point, we just had so much beer from everybody. We just spent an afternoon just teeing up the cans and just like blasting them with the golf club against the wall. It was that was a memorable day.
It really does seem like breweries, like everybody's like comes and brings a tribute. So breweries are always like, yeah, we have so much beer to sit in the back.
Let's put it in the cold box,
People
buddy.
come there and just like, thank you for allowing me to be in your beer region. May your first beer be a masculine beer.
Yeah.
when the brewery was like semi new, like maybe, I don't know, a year and a half old, I brought some homebrew there for Tyler. and he left it in like a little refrigerator under their like little
I remember that
rollaway bar thing.
Yeah.
And some New Brew Thursday fan came in from some other country, I forgot, like Norway or something, and mentioned us. And I think Jared was working there at the time.
Dooley.
Yeah, and mentioned like the show, and he's like, I have a beer from them, and it like we had an MBT Brewing label on it and all this stuff.
Nice.
And the guy was like, "Oh my god!" And they opened it at the brewery and gave it to him. He was so jazzed, and I was like, "That's a cool fucking story."
Yeah,
man.
that is a cool story.
Like, because that could have just sat there for years, and they're like, "Oh, what the fuck is this? Throw it away."
And then they used a golf club to smash.
Yeah. That was a cool story, though.
Yeah. Do we want to hear about B-Bomb? Do we want to know?
Sure. Yeah, I want to know. I want to know
Why aren't people buying it?
Well,
they call it a winter ale on Untappd.
I'm going to
That's
say
its first,
this
mistake.
isn't a beer that probably would just sit at the store, but I did just get it at the store.
It wasn't like
It's
one
not like
bottle
it's
limits.
been sitting there for fucking months, but
It's attainable.
Yeah. But so this is aged in 8 to 12-year-old American oak bourbon barrels, and it is a blend of 9, 12, and 24-month aged beer.
Mm-hmm.
The tasting notes, blah, 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 blah. And it has the whole malt profile, which you don't see as much anymore. You used to see that all the time.
Yeah.
Two-row, Crystal 120, Munich, roast barley, Carafa 2, chocolate malts with Columbus, Willamette, and U.S. Golding hops.
I like Fremont's beers, and this is delicious.
Yeah, this is good. I was expecting something spiced for some reason. I heard winter ale, and I was like, "Oh, there's going to be some
Baking spice or something.
yeah,
in there.
allspice or cinnamon
they
or something."
They did a cinnamon version of this for sure at some point.
Do they call it a winter ale on the label?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because on the notes I put, according to Untappd, it's a winter ale. And
Yeah.
I didn't know for sure if that's what it was.
That'd be like the reason why I probably wouldn't buy it. I'd just be like, "Oh, there's probably spices."
I'm
in
thinking, like Anchor Merry Christmas kind of.
Yeah,
which is a good beer, but like
Right. If you're not looking for that, though, you might stay
And
away
it's
from this beer.
waxed, too.
Yeah, these had all these like little wax strands hanging off of them, but they all fell off in the bag getting it home. Like all the like 6-inch like drippings of wax down the
You
side.
need to take that back and get a refund.
yeah.
I was trying to give this to a friend, and the wax all fell right off. I want my $26 back.
I just saw a story on Twitter
Sir,
about
just
how
melt your own wax.
bakers are upset that Hershey's Kisses are missing like the little top parts for some reason.
Yeah.
And like they're banding together and going to Hershey's and being like, what is going on here? Because aesthetically it just looks bad. I guess if you put it on a cake or something, the top's missing. I got annoyed by it and just was like, fuck you guys. Like,
Make your own.
government's shut down right now and you're freaking out about Hershey's Kisses, jerks. Anyway.
Government.
It's a good beer. I think it's not super hot or
I think the government should seize the means of Hershey production.
sure.
I mean,
14% is coming off hot. I mean, to be expected.
Yeah.
But it's not anything distracting. I think it's kind of goes with
It's a good balance of like sweet and kind of the roast and the
like
barrel.
the barrel in there is really good. Nice.
It's nice, the carbs.
I think we very wisely picked 4 beers that we're going to have identical tasting notes about. Oh no, one's got maple. All right, we'll be good.
Okay.
Comparing it to Sin Reserva, that one, your beer was definitely more on the sugary, like heavy side, which I liked. But this is a little lighter, a little thinner, finishes a little drier, still sticky, like still getting that lip schmacky thing on
More
it.
of a coffee character on this beer.
A lot of licorice too,
Coffee, huh? Licorice.
like Tootsie Roll,
Or like
Tootsie Roll and black licorice,
or like a bitter
Brewers licorice.
bitter dark chocolate kind of lingers after you drink it. Like I
Wow.
can still taste this beer. I just drank it before this sentence. It's pretty good though.
Yeah,
It's not bad.
Fremont always solid. Never done me wrong.
if I had to choose between the Sin Reserva and this, I'd probably do this.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a little more my speed. I think it's a little bit drier, but that's just me though.
I like both. I'd choose your beer, though.
You're just being nice.
I'm just being honest.
If I'm being real,
I get more heat on
wouldn't
this. Like
choose
I
an-
can feel it in my chest. Like it's definitely more boozy.
I wouldn't choose an imperial stout. Period. And but if I did, it would be one more like yours because I'd rather have a little bit of that than a little bit of this.
I mean, are the desserty stout boys buying these beers? I think is the big question.
Well, now that it's so
boys.
easily attainable, I mean, the secondary value is just there's no point in even buying.
I don't think people are
Yeah.
trading Fremont beers these days, right?
I don't know. I don't know if they ever were like. Were they super hyped? Like people were going nuts for it.
I've seen them
I
at
have
bottle
a
shares.
friend that like moved to Seattle, and he's like, dude, there's this Fremont brewery, and they make these amazing barrel aged stouts. And he's from the Midwest. He's like, you know what I love about it? When they do the releases, I don't have to stand in line.
Yeah, it's the best part.
Well,
He's like, I don't even have to go that same day. I can go the next day and buy bottles, and they're amazing. And he's like, and I don't trade them. I just drink them.
I mean, if this came from my local craft brewery, I would be
I'd be
like,
stoked.
hell
Oh
yeah,
my
this
God.
is great.
So this
you
is
know?
which beer is this?
That brings in, though, I wanted to finish what you
Yep.
were saying there. What I've noticed when I've been in the Northwest is that they're kind of in this like density where they're post hype, where it's just like, yeah, why the fuck would we line up for beer over here? There's like 100 other places to get really good beer. We don't need to go crazy just getting whatever hype whale.
Right.
And I'm feeling like with a lot of these big regional brands entering wider distro, we're starting to see more places get into like a post hype era.
Which I think is good.
Yeah,
It's good for beer.
beer lines suck.
Yep.
Yep. So this is with coffee. It's an oatmeal stout.
This is
Imperial
bourbon-
oatmeal stout.
Bourbon barrel aged Dark Star with coffee.
Dark Star's great. I've had this beer at a bottle share before, and I was like, "Wow, this is really good."
Oh wow, that's coming off like that peppery kind of
Yeah,
coffee.
it's
Big
bell
pepper.
peppery for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm super
It's like
green.
Taco Bell peppery.
So I was doing a little bit of research. So I guess it's common with like under roasted coffee, and then apparently there's like a lot of like anecdotal, like Guatemalan coffee apparently gives you get a higher chance of getting the green bell pepper thing for some reason. I don't know.
Guatemala, man.
'Cause we've done some coffee beers. Like I did like a little coffee beer, and it got super green bell peppery, and I'm like, I don't want to get rid of this keg, so I just found some other like really dark roast espresso, and then just nuked it with that. And I was like, okay, it kind of went away. So.
No, that's good.
I'm not vibing this one too much.
I like the last one better.
Yeah,
For sure. I think the coffee didn't do this beer any favors. I think just regular Dark Star is.
That spicy pepperiness on the nose is an immediate turnoff.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
yeah.
It's
you kind
definitely
of know
the
what you're
womp
in for
womp.
at that point.
Like mentally, I brace myself that it's going to be like hot just from the smell.
I feel like the finish on this one a little bit better than the last one. I don't know.
A little creamier.
Yeah, maybe it's the oats. I think it says there's oats in it.
Yep, it's an oatmeal.
Yeah, it's an imperial oatmeal stout apparently.
I don't get the coffee pepper thing on the flavor as much. I think if I did a larger retro nasal exhale, I would.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's there. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah. That's a bummer, man.
just the off flavor is like really dominating it for me, and yeah, this one's just not working.
Oh, Fremont.
I was like, Fremont never lets me down. Immediately, the next beer I have let me down.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
it
can't all
happens.
be zingers, Fremont.
I think it's still, despite the green bell pepper, I think it is still drinkable. Like if you paired it with the right food,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
go with like Lomo Saltado or something like that. The beer would really shine. It's
Put
got-
it in my
But-
chili.
And I've had some coffee beers that are like way overbird. This is just like a pinch.
How much was this beer, Jason?
Like $26 or something.
Okay, so that sucks.
Yeah.
That's like if it was just a regular beer, someone said, "Here, have this beer." I'd be like, it's got that pepper or coffee thing, but all right, fine. But $26
For a bomber?
Like if this was still a hype beast kind of beer, and you get this in a trade, like I'd be super fucking disappointed.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just not. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the non-barrel aged version is in 6-packs for $10 under it.
Oh, good.
Get that,
Yeah.
because this is.
I do like the idea of how they have a blend of aged barrels in there. Like I think that's really cool, and I think you can get a lot of good flavors that way. I wish I could do something like that, but I just don't have the space.
Yeah.
Just have your barrel warehouse off-site.
Yeah.
Once you start the radio ads, though,
It's gonna be able to fund a whole barrel warehouse.
It's gonna be a line.
Come down to the Trustworthy Barrel Room. It's full of barrels.
It's gonna be a line of dudes with like their name patches on their shirts. Like, I heard that shit on the radio.
Talking about people
Their
like
cargo
me,
shorts?
or-
Car
Actually,
nerds.
that would be kind of cool if you guys had like Trustworthy shirts and name patches on them.
Fuck yeah.
I'll
Earl.
make it look like an Easy Lube sort of logo.
Yep, exactly. Just everybody's name is Earl, though.
Well,
even the ladies.
those two beers were unfortunate. Well, I don't know. The B-Bomb was pretty good. This
Yeah,
last
I
beer
like
was-
that
B-Bomb.
one. That was all right.
But
That was dope.
all is not lost. Jason has one more beer.
No, we have 2 more beers.
We have 2.
Yeah.
Do we?
Well, one doesn't count because it's from ABM Dev.
Oh, we do have 2. I forgot. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, let's.
Oh, we're doing Kentucky or
Yeah.
or
Up next, we're doing Canadian Breakfast Stout. Which
I can't wait for. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Jason's update on the horse and no horse and or the person, the Mountie and no Sam's
Yeah,
Mountie.
so founders
Oh, we should
CBS.
put that in this.
Let's put it in the
the Tic Tac fucking lambic basket.
Fucking lambic basket.
It doesn't. Oh, it does fit.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
There we go.
is
Laces out. Cool. Here we
Oh,
go.
hold on, I got to get a photo of this.
This is so professional.
How long can you hold it?
That's what she said.
5 more minutes. You got it?
Yeah.
All right.
Boomerang that.
Go. I'm passing the basket to you.
Looks shaky.
Hold on.
Can I use 2 hands? Is that appropriate?
I don't know.
I don't know
How
lambic-
professional are you?
I've never used a lambic basket.
I don't know the basket etiquette.
A tisket, a tasket, a fucking lambic basket. So great.
The fucking whale
there's
basket.
there's a holographic or metallic thing that says it's barrel aged. That's all I need to know.
By being Canadian,
It's foily.
Yeah, it's foily.
Normally
legit.
being a Canadian beer, it had a Mountie on a horse.
This is kind of a nice way to pour beer.
I feel so fancy.
You have nice leverage with the handle, and like it offsets like the
Like
weight
if I was
of
at
the
a
beer.
restaurant and some dude was walking around with a beer in a basket, it'd be like, fuck yeah, whatever you're pouring, bro.
It's like going to like Brazilian barbecue beers with the little guys walking around with baskets, right?
Oh, you just have the little
CBS for you,
Would you
sir.
like a CBS?
I think we just came up with an awesome craft beer bar concept. It's like Brazilian barbecue, but just
beer.
fucking just bottle share.
Just a dude.
Oh, there you go.
Dude.
The Brazilian bottle share, and it's just like there's servers. You have a little green light or a red light. And there's servers just coming around like Black Tuesday.
Yes, I'll take a little.
Dude, we
That's not a
should
bad idea,
Fuck.
actually.
for
Yeah,
our Four
that's a
Brewers.
great idea.
We should have a Four Brewers party with the Brazilian bottle share, and we just come around with the lambic basket, just pouring.
But then what would be in the buffet? Just like a jockey box of Pilsner?
Pizza, exactly. Beers with malt with hops and not 12% alcohol.
Would you? Yeah. Here's your palate cleanse.
So they got a straight up cease and desist from the Mounties. They're like, stop putting us on beer.
The Canadians?
We're the police.
Blame Canada.
Yeah. So the
I'm not your friend, buddy.
I ain't your buddy, pal.
hey buddy,
How about that?
What's this all about?
I haven't had this beer in a while.
I haven't had it in a while because the first time I had it, I didn't like it, and that was probably 2 years ago.
kind of same. Yeah.
I got it. And it was like at its peak hype, and it was like, I can't believe I finally got this bottle for $30 or whatever I paid for it. And I opened it, and it was just like,
It's a big fucking bottle too.
Yeah.
That's a $7.50,
Yeah,
right?
it's a proper
No.
750.
Yep.
I had it in 2012. Was the last time I had it. So
On the nose, not much going on. It's kind of like nondescript. It's kind of muted aromatics to it. Not a lot popping out of the glass.
there's a bit of just a roasty aroma, but
It's kind of dusty.
It's
I would
kind of a nice break from these aromatic beers we've been having.
Yeah.
You know
I've
what
been
I mean?
kind of enjoying it. I'm like, of all the beers we just had, I think I'd drink this one.
Yeah, this
I'd
smells.
just sit down with it.
And again, talking about the bubbles, Garrett Oliver and his bubble thing. Like, yeah, there's different size
Tiny
bubbles.
bubbles.
yeah. So this has a little hint of sweetness on the finish, and it actually like
I get like some licorice for sure on this
yeah, but like the maple character comes as almost like an aftertaste. Like it, you don't really get it when you're first drinking the beer, and then you breathe out, and you're like, oh, maple was here. Like it just left a little ghost of maple.
one. Ghost of Maple.
It's like you blew a tree.
Yeah, exactly. Greg knows.
Actually, we've had this beer before as Four Brewers. We had it on May 15th, 2015.
What?
Yeah.
Mind blown. That's the last time I had
That's
it.
the last time I had it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. It tastes a lot better than I remember.
Yeah, honestly,
It's
of
pretty
the,
good.
Of the beers we've had today, this is probably it's in the sweet spot. It's not.
Yeah, I agree.
Not literally, but it's in that right spot where there's enough sweetness and enough body.
Yeah.
It's not super boozy, even though it's probably like 14% or some shit.
Fuck,
it looks like it's 11.
It's 11.7.
Yeah. This is really solid. I was really expecting in my head that there's going to be a ton of maple on it, but it's really just kind of like a hint.
No.
I'm trying to remember what I thought. I think I want to say the last time I had this, I thought it was too heavy and rich. Like it's not like it was too sweet, but there was just too much of it, and it was not enjoyable. It was like syrupy almost. Like it just didn't vibe with me at all.
I went to Founders Brewery in Grand Rapids when I was out there last summer. It was kind of nice. Little restaurant, little gift shop.
I would totally go to Founders.
That was
Make
pretty
great
dope.
beer.
Yeah.
Maybe less so now.
Yeah, I'll still go. It's still a
Founders.
happening spot.
They had the whole racism thing.
Oh, yeah, the black dude printer.
Damn it, you're right.
Yeah, they're being sued for being racist.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Never mind.
There's so many better breweries
This beer
around town,
sucks,
too.
man. Tastes like racism.
We just lost our retweet for that one.
Founders. I don't think they're going to retweet anybody.
The Founders retweet's gone. Got to go to Great Lakes now.
Yeah, this is solid. Like,
Yeah,
and
it's
this
good.
is kind of deceptively drinkable.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
for being as high as it is in ABV, it's
Yeah.
really good.
Overall, like of the ones we've had, that this is definitely one of the hits the balance the best, I think.
I think you get a nice roast on the nose, but it doesn't come through in the flavor, which I
I just
like.
love the finish of it. It's really cool.
Man,
Yeah.
and it's got like a nice sweetness. It's tongue coating,
But it finishes just kind of like dry and clean.
I'll coat your tongue, John.
but you still get like a nice sweetness
Sorry.
from it.
Third show. Is this our second show or third show?
It's our first.
I've already
Well,
lost
where
count
am
too.
He
our third.
butt chugged a mini bottle of rum on the way in. So.
Some Appleton Estate 12.
While playing Battlefield.
That's a great beer, though.
That's a
Fuck,
good use.
if I see that on the shelf, I'm going to definitely pick one up.
Dude, that's a good gimmick. Battlefield while butt chugging. Like,
Just hanging out,
Literally.
drill a hole in the bottom of my chair and just like
Suck it up.
you've got like an IV bag or like an enema bag here full of fucking whatever it is. Squeeze
enema
it.
bag. A fleet enema. of CBS.
Okay.
Dude, I would get 1 million followers in like 2 days.
Dude, I can like. Would you get banned from Twitch? Do you think they would?
All right. Okay.
But you're not. It's all off camera, right? And it's not like a sex thing. He's butt chugging.
It's not sexual at all.
Can you supply like by a fireplace when you do it too?
Yeah, exactly.
Just smoking jacket.
It's great beer.
I'm crying.
I mean, who knew butt chugging?
If we hit our Patreon stretch goals, we'll
God, I hope my owners don't listen to this.
Just hide this episode from them. That wasn't me. That was Michael Cera.
Didn't you bring a stout out there? No.
No,
Yeah, they don't like stouts.
they specifically told me don't bring a stout.
So moving on.
Why did you buy this?
Speaking of beers to butt chug, we have Budweiser.
I was at
Budweiser
Bevmo,
Black.
and that's what it's listed as. It says Budweiser.
Nice.
500 mil, 18.99 or
We
whatever.
have Goose Island's Bourbon County brand stout. I think John bought it at the Chevron or whatever.
Gross Island.
No, I got
Is it
this
Twist
at,
Off?
I got this at Total Wine. No, Bevmo of all places.
Oh,
And it was bountiful. Like it was.
I think my Target
Cases
has
upon
it.
cases.
They had no shortage of BCBS. So
Don't people still lose their shit over the variants, though?
they
Yeah.
do.
yeah.
Their variants are hard to find.
I did the math a couple years ago, and based on the amount of barrels they said in an article they had, there's something like 1 million bottles at that time. It would have translated to like 1.5 million bottles. Like 1.5 million bottles worth of beer was in the barrel. So it's like, yeah, they make a lot.
So I was listening to that Don't Drink Beer podcast, and they said they got a tour of the Sacramento Barrel House. So I don't know if it's just like hearsay or they were like kind of touching around the subject, but like it's like maybe some of it's made in Sacramento, the Weird. Goose Island. There's the Fairfield Budweiser plant or something around there.
That seems weird because they had a quality issue a few years ago, and it seems like they wanted to dial in.
So I know, like their quality problem. Yeah, I know some of it's made in.
It's not that low key. It's Goose Island Barrel House, Sacramento, California.
Oh, there you go.
Like it's on their website.
I had no idea.
So when I worked at Zymo, we had this fun. They have a line of products called it's a field of studies microbiomics, and basically you can look at the microbial population and kind of whatever sample source. And so I was like, let's run some beer through this. And I ran that infected Goose Island, and I was like, oh, look, there it is, lactobacillus, some random species. And I was like, maybe we should like publicize this or whatever, because it was like months before they even found out what it was.
Really?
And the lawyer's like, yeah, I really don't want to mess with Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's just keep this by us. But I ran like Cantillon and Dreifonteinen and like some beatification and looked at all these different microbiological profiles. So
did you see anything interesting?
A lot of imported, so a lot of like continental ones. Not a lot of lactobacillus. It's mostly like pedio. It looks like mostly one kind of strain of Brett. As far as like species level determination, like not a whole lot of resolution. So I actually helped Ryan Fields. He just released that little study.
Sure.
And they had like some genomic studies, and those were stuff that I did through through the company. So
I read that. That was really cool.
But on the side, I ran like I said, some Cantillon and Russian River and.
Yeah, if you go to Beechwood,
pull it up right
Beechwood
now.
Blendery's website, there's a PDF that Ryan Fields put out that has sort of like what their scope was when they opened the blendery and how to what their scope, like how they were going to produce beer and like their results as far as like comparing it to all the other bottles out there, and it's really interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool study.
It's going to help. I think the next generation of sour brewers can really pick that document up and go, oh shit.
Well, that was part of Beechwood's whole philosophy from the beginning with the blendery. Like they wanted to get all this data from, the unnamed brewery, Cantillon.
Oh, that reminds me.
And they did it in like 3 years.
Like apply all that and see if they could replicate that and then make it public and say, this is what we found and you should learn from this.
I really appreciate...
They followed through with that, which is great.
They're so transparent.
I really appreciate any breweries that are just trying to kind of... There's a lot of like magical thinking and they're just like, oh yeah, if you brew on a full moon, then the beer's going to be...
Right.
And like just them cutting through the shit. It's like, what's the magic of fucking Cantillon, right? It's not the rolling hills of Belgium, right? It's in like a fucking urban environment and shit. And it's like, what is it? It's not just because it's in Belgian farm country. Also, it's on Sacramento Boulevard in Chicago. It's not in Sacramento, the city.
Oh,
really?
Okay.
Yes.
But
today you learned. Today we learned.
Yeah. Oh, you can rent it out. It's really cool. You can have like weddings there and shit.
I have like a skate park and stuff.
That's why it's getting infected.
People are fucking on the barrels.
Bachelorette party in there and fucking
riding them.
Lost a whole year of Bourbon County.
Damn it.
So speaking of Bourbon County,
this does not smell bad. It smells kind of ashy and smoky.
Smells like Bourbon County.
Yeah.
I'm getting a ton of coffee on the nose. To me, it smells like a
coffee, really,
like a big roasty character.
I'm getting a lot of Raisinets.
Ashy, dusty cocoa.
Ashy too. I can get that too.
I definitely get
Ashy Larry.
There's a Venice character to this on this nose. There's sort of like the Raisinets, like a sweet wine, like late harvest wine, grapes.
Okay, I can get that.
It's sort of grapey.
It is grapey.
Yeah.
Now that you mention that, yeah,
not bad.
It's got a little bit of booze on the nose, which is to be expected. This is 15.2.
Holy crap!
By the way, this has a 4.4 on Untapped.
Yeah, sure does.
182,000 unique check-ins. That's fucking incredible for a beer like this.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not
it's not mind blowing. It's not bad.
See, now it's coming off kind of on the flavor, kind of like cola.
Yeah, there's like a cloying.
It's like too carbonated, It's thin.
There's a bit of a cloyiness to the finish that I'm not in love with.
It lingers. Roast comes through quite a bit on that linger.
Yeah, it's like if you take fucking nuts and you candy them, it's like candy nuts, sort of.
It does have kind of a raisinette character to the beer, like when you. But the finish, it lingers on my palate in a weird way.
It's got a weird sweetness that I just don't like. I guess that's the cloying you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like it's sweet, but not in a good way.
It's like a candy sweet kind of like you'd get from a beer with like candy sugar in it, but you're not supposed to have that in this.
Like molasses.
Okay, something.
Yeah.
Something doesn't belong.
My big comment I've always made on Bourbon County is you have a local brewery that's probably making a better stout. Like, and I stand by that. Like, it's not a bad beer. It's a solid beer, but it doesn't really feel class leading for a bourbon barrel stout. And bourbon barrel stouts are really fucking common these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I still see guys who are just like, yeah, but Bourbon County is blah, like it's a benchmark, and it's like, I don't think it is. It's not a benchmark.
We did our stout showdown, and it didn't fare very well.
It was like 6th place, I think. Yeah.
I mean, like, it hits my palate, and it's like
after a drop off.
This peak, and then like it instantly just goes to like nothing.
One note. Yeah, it's a one note. It's a flash in the pan, sort of like, eh.
I mean, I get they kind of originated the whole thing, but fuck them. They're Budweiser now.
So I will say this goes well with Jason's
I'm
Christmas
eating some
present.
tacos.
Reese's Pieces trees.
Eating some Reese's Treacies.
Yeah,
I recommend you all open your gift right now and try it because it's pretty damn good.
Everyone on Patreon, we'll send you some Reese's Pieces.
I really like Reese's peanut butter cups, but I can't eat them because I get instant heartburn.
Oh really? Man, that's
that's a bummer.
So I used to love peanut butter, but I can't do anything peanut butter because I get instant heartburn. Anything peanut butter.
You're totally missing out, dude. So good.
I just don't want to.
It does really interact well with the peanuts.
Yeah.
With the penis.
I don't know. Why don't you butt
little
chug
penis?
some?
It's really mouth coating, really tongue coating.
It works very well with this beer.
I'm sure.
Greg, try it.
I already did. It's gone.
You ate them all?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Welcome to Fort Chewers.
Fort Chewers, brothers.
Well, I mean, it's Bourbon County, and for it being a mass market beer at this point, it's still holding up pretty well. What'd you send me?
The article I wrote for the microbiome study.
Is it a PDF?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it never got published. They were going to publish it in one of their marketing things, but
we'll put it on our Four Brewers.
They never got it. They never found a home for it.
We're a respected scientific journal. We'll publish it.
Now it's on my iPad.
I think this is the good one. Let me double check you got the right version.
Okay.
Before you do it.
I just put it in Apple Books.
But you can read it over.
Please tell me the next show has some hops in it.
We'll find out.
Okay. What do we drink on the next show?
What do we have on our next show? We need
well,
something without all this malt.
Coming up next week on the show, we're doing Bear Temper from Trustworthy, which is a 12.5% barley wine that won a bronze at GABF.
That sounds hoppy.
From Trustworthy Brewing Company. Actually, I don't know what we're doing next episode because Chris brought a bunch of different beers. We're doing Life and Limb from Sierra Nevada and Dogfish. We're doing the original, and then they did it, I think, 3 years later.
I thought it was the next year.
Maybe it was the next year. I forget.
Yeah,
but there was a Life and Limb, and then Life and Limb 2. And then we're doing, I think, a Sang Royale.
Yeah,
from Cascade.
Yeah, 2000. Do you guys want to do 2009 or 2012?
Both.
We'll tune in next week to find out.
2009, 2012. Find out next week on the Four Brewers podcast. Same.
Did I just do a tease? Is that a tease?
It's a tease.
Okay,
you did a tease.
Man, Trustworthy.
And then we're also doing a Boston Beer Company, Samuel Adams Triple Bock from 97. That's when I graduated.
Triple Bock.
I'm really excited to try Triple Bock.
I was in 3rd or 4th grade.
You're that much younger than me?
I'm 31.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. I'm 39.
I look old. It's that receding hairline.
I'm 95. Beer keeps me
Greg
young.
fought in the great.
The Great War.
That's why I like playing Battlefield 5, because I actually was in World War II, and it brings me back.
Surprised you don't get like PTSD from that.
We didn't have butt chugging back then, but
tune in.
Otherwise,
my
it's
Twitch
about
channel.
the same.
So, Chris, where can we find Trustworthy online?
TrustworthyBrewingCo.com, Trustworthy Brewing on Facebook, and Trustworthy Brewing on Twitter. Twitter and Instagram.
Instagram probably being the most important one next to
Instagram.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Because Facebook rules everything right now.
Someone jacked Trustworthy Brewing from us. So we had to throw
Probably
in
some
Are
homebrew.
they
we had to
using
throw
it or
in
just
the-
squatting on it?
just squatting on it.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
we
reach
have-
out and they never reply.
There's a woman on Twitter that has 4 brewers, and she picked it up legit. Like, her last name is Brewer, and so I think it was for her family. She's following one person, and she's had it since like 2008.
We're like, we'll give you $100.
And
for it.
I sent her emails, like tweeted at her, like she just I think she doesn't realize she still has it, and it just sits there, which is kind of sad. So we're 4 brewers.
I wish you could challenge those.
You can
Anyways.
if you go to Twitter, like they'll intervene, but you got to be important. We're not that important.
Got to be a blue check,
Yeah, that's it. Blue
Exactly.
check.
white supremacist.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, if you want to find 4 Brewers online, we are at 4brewers.com. You can go to support the shit out of it to give us your money. Go to at 4Brewers Show on Twitter. If you want to tweet at us, go to at 4Brewers on Instagram to see our tasteful photos. Twitch.tv/4Brewers if you want to see our past live streams. And you can follow us on Twitch. You can't subscribe to us yet because we're not that cool yet. Leave us a review on
Yeah, you
iTunes.
can follow it.
You can follow us, yeah. Leave us a review on iTunes, only positive, 5 stars only. And if you have anything bad to say, you can email us at feedback@4brewers.com and brew the shit out of it.
I just love demanding that it has to be positive. It's so good.
It has to be.
That's my spin on it now.
You're gonna people are gonna hear that and go, "Fuck! I'm gonna give him a 4-star just to troll him."
Well, so be it.
I would.